Rewst Flow 2025, Rewst's second event here in Tampa, Florida. A great event, all about the community. It's a nonprofit event. They don't make any money. They put it all back in, and it was well attended. It's all about automation, using the Rewst platform to help MSPs, help small to medium-sized businesses. I was able to have 11 great conversations. My first time at this event. I've been told I'm going to be invited to all the rest of them. I'm looking forward to it. It's a great community, great group of vendors, great leadership there at Rewst, and the vendors were terrific as well. I started the whole, all of my conversations with the CEO, with Aaron Chernin, and I've had the pleasure of talking to Aaron in the past, and a great leader. From Ducati rides to MSP revolution is the title of this discussion. He loves motorcycles. Why? Why would you think he loves them, by the way? I wonder if you'll be shocked by his answer. But Aaron is all for the community, all for this platform. Really great conversation. John Snyder, an MSP, a great light. John came up to me full of energy. Can we talk? It was a great conversation. From potter to partner. Told me he was a potter. Didn't know what that meant. Mendy Green, MSP geek. Known MSP geek for a while. I didn't know Mendy before this. Certainly seen him around. Very interesting. The kind of engineer that would take things apart just to understand them. And my goodness, he loves to work. But great conversation with Mendy and how he's dedicated to the community, to the MSP community. Frank Marino, from rugby fields to fire pits, well-rounded individual, another gentleman who came up to me, another MSP, has an interesting backstory, great conversation with Frank. I hope to work more with him. It's just a great smile and great presence and a lot of knowledge there. Vera Tucci, an Italian. Her and her husband have a great MSP there in northern Italy near Bologna. Tea consulting. Of course, my father's from southern Italy, but culture, communication, and cyber. We just talk about how MSPs work there in Italy and southern Europe, how it's different here. It's not really that different. But Vera gave a great presentation there at Rewst, and it was really, really well accepted. Karl Bickmore. I've known Karl for 20 years. Him and his partner, Sean Brown at SnapTech, a great MSP. They're a platform. They're bringing more MSPs on, but they branched off and made an automation company that focuses that their platform is Rewst, called Raven. Karl loves guitars and singing and a musician. And we talk about the difference between art and science with Karl. Adam Myers, fascinating discussion with Adam. He's an MSP there in New York. Tech tickets and tile games. Very interesting, his perspective on how to solve problems and what he does there in that MSP in New York. Becky Teal, known Becky for 12 years when she was at the peer group HTG. She heads up community now at Huntress. A hobby hopper, from hobby hopper to community builder. Really enjoyed talking to Becky. I always do. Hyla Strauss-Stanton from Acronis. First time meeting Hyla, very interesting woman, interesting past, moved all through the country from Miami to Phoenix, gone from the hot wet to the hot dry, but how she looks at community, how she helps MSPs, great conversation. Mark McDowell, great conversation. I got to know Mark at one of the get-togethers. We were talking for a while, begged him to come on to the podcast, and he did. Leading with facts, living with purpose. He's at an MSP outside of Orlando. He is now. Great conversation with Mark. And the last conversation with Joe Panettiere, MSP legend, the other Joe P. There's been many times where people would confuse us, same initials, same first name, same, from the Northeast, Italian. I remember one party, 10 years ago, we went where we actually swapped badges just to fool people. But great conversation with Joe Panettiere, our 700th episode. Joysticks, journalism, and the joy of truth. Love being at Rewst, Flow. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hi, I'm Joey Pinz, and here's my 45-second introduction. After starting my business in the 90s, I started developing poor habits of eating in my diet because I was working way too much. Before you know it, I found myself 340 pounds. The doctor told me if I don't lose the weight, I'm not going to see my daughter graduate. Took the next 7 months, lost 130 pounds. People think there's some secret. Ask me, how'd you lose that weight? Like there's some secret. There is no secret. How'd I lose the weight? Just one word, discipline. I've had other successes in life, and I attribute them all to discipline. Now, I'm not the king of discipline, but I believe that it can help all of us. Friends, colleagues convinced me to start a podcast. The podcast mission: how do we better ourselves and society? I talk to interesting people in health, fitness, sport, wellness, business, technology, science, art, and culture. And I eventually ask them how discipline plays a role in their life. Podcast vision: growth through learning from others. What's your favorite chord?
My favorite guitar chord?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I don't know. Maybe
What's the first one?
Maybe like an A sus9 or something. You know,
A
something
sus
pretty.
9. I know A7.
Yeah.
Oh, A9's tough.
Yeah, well, you know, you add a sus note in there, it gets kind of floaty. It's beautiful, right? You know, it's pretty. Other than that, probably a power chord. Come on now, we'll play a little rock and roll. You know.
So it would be D, A, G.
Yeah. A little 135, 145. You know.
Yeah. What? How many guitars do you have? You told me about your SG.
Yeah, I got a few. I've been collecting a little bit. I honestly don't know if I know the right count, but it's probably north of 15, something like that.
All electric?
No, I got a few acoustics. I got a really cool, I found a used version of a DiGregorio 1961 samba guitar, which is a nylon string, like a classical.
Yes.
And so that's like a kind of a fun little find that I found one day. The guy didn't want much for it, and the thing's probably worth $4 or $5 grand.
Wow.
And it was amazing. But it's a fun, interesting guitar. But actually, the first guitar I ever played was a classical guitar when I was a teenager, when I started learning. So.
In this fast-paced MSP landscape, how do you stay ahead? Introducing MSPinfluencer.com, your ultimate hub for MSP news, insights, and community connection, powered by Forza Dash. More than 75,000 MSPs subscribe to our MSP Influencer Pulse weekly newsletter, staying informed and ahead of industry trends. Tune in to emerging podcasts from Joey Pinz and leading MSP voices, offering essential tips, powerful insights, and success stories. Explore our multi-authored blogs, crafted specifically for MSP leaders, delivering fresh perspectives and actionable strategies. Celebrate excellence with the industry-leading Forza MSP Influencer Awards, recognizing innovation, leadership, and impact in the MSP community. Join thousands of MSP professionals who trust MSPinfluencer.com to grow their business and expand their networks. MSPinfluencer.com, where today's MSP leaders connect, collaborate, and conquer, all powered by the Forza platform, helping MSP vendors work effectively with MSPs and helping MSPs grow. And so, how are you trained?
Well, I when I was a teenager, I took lessons for a little while.
You did.
But and then after that, you know, life got in the way, and I just kind of played on the side. And then I started picking up and finding good people to learn from. And I do a lot of YouTube, man. There's a ton of content out there.
YouTube has got incredible.
It's amazing.
It is. It is.
Amazing.
Yeah. And there's guys like Rick Beato,
out of Atlanta. Also, his buddy Rhett Scholl's in the same area. He's another guitarist, this fun guy. Rick's a guitarist, but he's more a producer than anything, right? But his opinions on music are good.
I think so.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
And he's got lots of followers and lots of great content.
Oh, yeah. I remember, I've been watching him for years. I remember when he was getting excited about passing the 1 million follower mark. And now, I was just watching a new clip from him the other day. He's over 5 now, you know? So he's been making some pretty good hay.
Yeah, really, really good hay. And you also sing, which I didn't know.
Yeah, that's... you know, that's maybe in the genes. My dad was a singer, or is a singer, and kind of grew up around. I used to tell him I hate singing. I hate music. I'm going to go play sports. And then my life changed, and I'm like, hey, you know, maybe I should check this music thing out. And then it kind of became what I think about all the time.
Wow. So, and because you hating was just rebelling against your father.
Yeah, I'm like, that music sucks.
So was he big band or something?
Classic opera. I still don't really like opera that much, you know.
Yeah, that's a bit of an acquired. I mean, I respect it.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's amazing.
It's amazing. I just kind of can't get into the groove a little bit.
It's language barriers. It's a kind of a unique style. It was meant they would sing out and project like that because there used to not be microphones, and so the style's different, you know.
So to this day, are you still gigging?
Oh yeah.
How often?
about once a month, something like that. And then, there's a choir that I sing in that's a professional choir, and we get hired for gigs now and then, too. Like just a couple months ago in the Phoenix market where I live, I think Catherine McPhee was coming through doing a concert, and she wanted a choir to back her up. And we're like, hey, this week we got a gig on Friday, and who can make it? I'm like, I can make it. Let's do it. And
How many people in the choir?
60. It's a pretty good crowd. Yeah, it's a pretty good crowd. Not that everybody comes to everything because sometimes things pop up quickly, but it's a pretty good choir. Yeah, it's Spire Chorus out of Phoenix. It's awesome. Rob Gardner's the founder. He's a composer.
And when you're there with 59 other people singing, I have known nothing about this area, Karl.
Yeah.
So I mean, how do you train? Certain areas take certain pitches.
Yeah. There's parts, right? The bass, alto, the tenor, the baritones. Everybody's got kind of their voice, and so you know where you sit and you look at the music and you know where your part is because you know where your part fits in the music.
Wow.
And so, yeah.
And what are you?
I'm a tenor. Yeah.
And what's a soprano, tenor? What is it?
Yeah, so the soprano and the tenor are the male and female versions of the higher voices.
I see.
And then it's alto is the lower voice of the female, and bass or baritone. Bass is the lowest male voice, baritone's in between. And sometimes you'll even find that choirs will get more advanced harmonies, so you'll have soprano 1, soprano 2, alto 1, alto 2. Sometimes harmony can get 8 part, in complicated music. Classical music does that, quite often, actually.
I've heard the term 8-part harmony. What does that mean?
Well, there's 8 different parts. Bass 1, bass 2, tenor 1, tenor 2, alto 1, alto 2, soprano 1, soprano 2. And so you gotta work on that. It's a lot harder to hear, and you gotta practice. I'm not as great a reader as I would love to be, and so I really have to work. If I'm singing like a middle part of 8 harmonies, I got to know exactly where I'm at. And
wow.
So it takes a minute.
Wow. Do you ever write your own music?
Not so much. No. Sometimes I think about it, but I get stuck in the music part's not the hard part. It's like, what do I want to say? That's the part that I'm not always as good at. I do like lots of songs, but I've never written my own. No.
What do I want to say? Is it the blank page?
Yeah. I do find like what other people have to say pretty interesting, and I like that, but coming up with something new musical, like that's not terribly hard. Something's new musical that I really like and good may be harder, right? But being able to just jam and improvise and things like that, I do that all the time. That's a lot of fun.
Because you have somebody like Elton John who doesn't write any lyrics. Bernie Taupin.
That's right. Yeah, so I need my Bernie Taupin. That's right.
Bernie Taupin, to come. Yeah.
Yeah, you got it. Well, but he was, prolific, right? He would oftentimes turn around in a day.
Right.
These crazy hits, right? Some people. Right?
And he would just see those lyrics and just have music come to him. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I know people who have like that synesthesia when they
the colors, right?
They see colors when they hear sounds.
Yeah.
I've got a friend who's a musician. Whenever he sees the number 5, it's red.
How weird.
And when he hears certain chords, he sees colors.
That must be beautiful, I guess, right?
Do you?
No.
I don't
have that I've heard of it. It sounds interesting, I think you could even explore that into like some of the folks that are kind of like savants that are autistic and whatnot. Some of them will be synesthetic, but they'll also just have just unbelievable abilities, or they'll have these feelings or colors and things like. I think that's an area where it gets even more expressed sometimes. It's just pretty wild.
It is.
It's an interesting brain connection. I don't know much about it, but I think I think it would be more of a blessing than a curse.
I wonder.
Yeah,
I wonder. Yeah, because it's just everything. Because there's just so many sounds, and there's just. Yeah, I wonder how that all collides. So where does music and technology join for you?
Okay, that's a really good question, because I'll tell you what, for me, working in IT for a lot of years,
yes.
I would say like that's a good enough question for me that I think that's almost like I should have paid you to ask me that question. I'm just telling you right now.
Okay.
So because I've only recently realized this, because as I built my MSP business through the years, it used to be all consuming, and young family. If I did anything extra, it was spending time with the family, going to church, or doing the things that I do. And so there was some years that music took not as strong a part in my life. And as I started to build my business out, I found myself more in leadership, less turning wrenches, if you will, less doing that exchange migration over the weekend, or handling that desktop deployment that I used to do all that, right? And I sort of missed it. I kind of had to find these evolutions of myself where I went from being Karl the technician to Karl the supervisor of technicians to Karl the sales guy to Karl the CEO. And as I've made these journeys, I'm pretty distant from doing the technical work anymore. And it's funny because in the last, I don't know, say 4 or 5 years, I've really found that there's this technical side of music that I really enjoy, and it's these guitar pedal boards. And so I started really looking into it and finding out all these effects and sounds, and I'm more interested in doing something complicated than something practical.
Interesting.
So I spend time soldering wires on my desk, designing audio flow. I'm figuring out the power distribution. I'm creating complicated setups where I'm doing these things called wet, dry, wet setups, where I'm doing parallel effects. I'm bringing out parallel effects and then mixing them back in and doing all this on a pedal board and then trying to make it like nice and pretty and all that. And I feel I've only really recently realized it's like this is the technical side of me expressing again. It's pretty technical. I got spreadsheets for my pedal boards and how I'm going to do power distribution and how I'm going to do my audio. I do data looking like data diagrams, but it's my audio flow.
Wow.
And so, it's just super nerdy stuff, but I'm into it. That's probably what I look at on YouTube more than anything else these days. It's like, oh, what's the latest in pedal board builders doing, or what's the latest effect that just came out? There's thousands of them. So
I'm wrestling with this, Karl. When you approach a problem, is it more art or science?
Oh man, that's a really good question. I would say probably more art, but really? I do like the details. In fact, I'm kind of famously bad at details, except in the thing that I'm interested in, and then I'm really good at details, right? And so that's kind of like the kind of IT guy I was too. It's like I would be really interested in this IT subject, and I would know everything about it. I'm a pretty avid reader. I would just consume books and go for it.
Wow.
And I would say, like a lot of us, particularly my generation or our generation, if you will, I don't know, self-taught. There wasn't things teaching us. Yeah, that's right. And the things you're learning wouldn't be in the textbooks because they were only created 3 months ago, right? That was the flow back in the day, right?
Yeah.
And so
by the time the book came out, it was too late.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're behind. Yeah. But I have a client that needs this now.
Right.
There's no book for that.
Right.
Dear manufacturer.
Yeah.
That was actually kind of how I got my start in computers to begin with. When I was a teenager, I wanted to play video games, and the best video games were on computer back then. Consoles were like Super Nintendos and Sega Genesis, which were awesome, but I'm like, dude, what are they doing on computers? And my dad said, hey, okay, you get a computer, get your money together, and here, buy it in parts and put it together. That's actually what got me launched in computers to begin with. And there was no manual. I just remember getting the motherboard manual, and they were a lot more complicated. Than you had to do dip switches and IRQs and DMA numbers.
With
and
Chinese characters.
Yeah, that's right. And you had to figure out the pins on the hard drives, the master and slave drives on the IDE.
Master and slave.
You had to do all that stuff, and after like a week of like no guidance, this computer turned on and worked, and I'm like, oh, I could probably do this. And that's when I started working in computers. I started like saying, hey, I could build computers for other people. I was just a teenager, so but anyway, that's a long time ago about now.
Right.
So.
It's very different now. Hey, Joey Pinz here. Want to take your podcast experience to the next level? I'm excited to invite you to become a YouTube member. It's the absolute best way to support the channel and enhance your connection. Join our amazing community and unlock the incredible perks, custom loyalty badges, exclusive emojis, and priority comment replies. Your voice will always stand out. Be the first to watch new videos with early access, receive special membership shoutouts, and get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and updates. Dive into content available only to our members, special videos, deep dives, and insider perspectives. Engage directly with me. Suggest podcast topics you want to hear, and even get personalized video shoutouts. Hit the join button right now and become part of something special. Let's build this amazing community together. I can't wait to welcome you as a new member. Join the Joey Pinz family today. So, getting back to art versus science. So, I'll just, for me, I play golf, I play with your partner many times. So I'm 150 yards out. There's a slight wind. There's a little uphill. They've got a good lie. All the measurements are telling me 7-iron. But you know what? I think it's an 8. I'm going to go. So I let my gut kind of override all the science.
Yeah.
So I think I'm a little more art than science. Do you ever use your gut to make those decisions?
Yeah. That's a really good question too. It's like something I've been really a big fan of in my leadership role is the concept of the personality assessment. And I'm a big fan of the culture index process. There's a few of them out there that I'll get. Many of them are based on the same research, but there's a few flares they have in that one that I particularly like. But one of the things I could tell you is there are definitely people that have intuition in their personality and people that have more data and evidence in their personality.
Right.
And you want that balance in your team.
Sure do.
I am 100% intuition.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I'm so far on that measurement of a guy that likes to trust my gut. Like I said, except in something I'm really interested, then I'll know the details. So like when I'm working on the pedal board, there's this side of me that comes out that I don't use elsewhere, very similar to how it was when I was in doing computer stuff more. I would know the details and know the rules, but honestly, I still prefer feeling good about it and feeling like it's right. So I would say I am solidly an intuition guy. And, that's why when I build teams, I make sure I have some good data people around me because they're going to keep me honest and they're going to keep me from making too big of mistakes. So I'm a big fan of balance in the team and some of these big personality things. Like the problem with the folks that are heavy on data is they just can't get enough spreadsheets and they can't make a decision. The intuition guys might move a little too quick, right? And so a little balance doesn't hurt, right? There's other things like that too. People that are prefer to lead, people that prefer to be a part of the team, people that are more social, people more introverted, people that like to move fast, people like to move slow, and people that are heavily emotionally driven and people that process logic first, right? These are all great personality things to know that are just terrific way to understand and build your teams.
Right. What's the difference between a leader and a manager?
Oh, well, a leader inspires, a manager disciplines. Maybe that's a quick version of it. Yes. No. Managers have the day-to-day motion. They're there with you. I would say, and you look, leadership is earned. It's not given. Authority does not equal leadership, right? It's the case that you behave in a way for other people's benefit. That's the primary thing. I like Patrick Lencioni's contention. He has a really short book that I think is good, and I have everybody in my company who wants to be a leader or a future leader read this book called The Motive. It's super short. It's only it's audiobook 2 hours. I don't even know how many pages. Yeah, I know. Kate's a Sleeper came out of nowhere. Yeah. But it's a really great book, and it basically says, what's your reason you want to be a leader? So many people will find themselves thinking, okay, well, I'm 20 years in, I guess I should be a manager next. Right. Or I deserve this, I've earned this, and that's why I'm going to be. But the real motivation should be that you want the added responsibility to help everybody, right? He says there's no difference between leadership and servant leadership. There's no reason to make that distinction. And that's the book where he says that, and I think it's true. I think a servant leader is somebody who is there with their team, working as hard, and feels the responsibility at the highest level. And so, and I think managers can do the same. Managers can be leaders, but the concept of management is knowing the numbers, knowing the tasks, doing the training. It's a different point. I think leadership is more inspirational and more visionary as a point of view.
So, Karl, we're here in Tampa. It's the big Rewst Flow, second year. What are some of your goals this week?
Oh, man, I love this conference. I think Flow is another example of a newer conference that's more focused and has a pretty high quality of content and a high quality of attendee. And so I feel like it sort of helps me sort out who I want to talk to, because most people here, I want to have a conversation. It's a cool community. This is, in my opinion, the group that's building the next major wave that's happening in IT, right? Because the infrastructure business is dead or near dead, right? This is how many more server migrations are we going to do, right? So, or even cloud migrations, right? It's just not there, right? And so how do we stay relevant? I'm convinced it's in automation and AI. And this is the conference that's everybody who's thinking about it, everybody who's working on it, people who have people dedicated in their company to do it. It's really different than what you see in the greater crowd. A lot of people aren't thinking this way yet, but I think people that are here are the ones that are thinking ahead to the next step. And I think the folks that aren't here are the ones that are going going to follow them in a year or two.
Wow.
You know, it's like many other journeys we've seen together, Joe, right? The cybersecurity journey. I mean, there's a time that was on nobody's radar, and now everybody talks about it, even if they have no business talking about it, right? It's just, you know, and the customers are aware now, right? You and I go back far enough to remember when customers didn't even know what it meant to be an MSP. Like, what's that, right?
That's right.
Tell me this MSP thing, right? Yeah. But there's these evolutions that come and go, and I feel like the next one's upon us, right? And those that are making that move. So what do I like about, what are my goals at Flow? I think I want to talk to as many people. I want to find out what people are doing. But I'm here with my second company, Raven Automation. Raven Automation is here helping the folks that are finding it hard. And, you know, it can be pretty hard, particularly if you're an IT company looking to make the pivot, because you don't have the skill set within your team a lot of the times, or you just don't have enough team members to dedicate. It's very difficult to make headway without dedication to the role. Right. And so for us, we're just hoping to make connections with people that are looking for help as well. And maybe we help them for a while, maybe we help them for a long time. You know, we're kind of good either way, but we just got lucky enough to jump on that trend really early and got just a little bit ahead of a few folks in that regard. And I think we're doing some really great work. So people are appreciating it, and we're having a good time. And it's a cool company. It's growing very fast, you know. And we're excited for what this year brings, because we think that it's time to now move from just helping IT companies go from building out automations to make their IT business run better, but now we need to start looking to how we're going to help the customer work better, because that is the evolution. That is how we remain relevant with the customer, is we're now helping them with their business processes, not just that foundational IT infrastructure, right? That's how we remain relevant. That's how we remain profitable. That's how we remain in the business, is how I feel about it.
And you're so committed to this because you've had SnapTech IT, the MSP's platform now. It's growing. Yeah,
SnapTech IT, our MSP is doing well.
It's
incredible. We're operating in the three geographies. We're out there working on acquisitions like a lot of folks are. I mean, that's the story of our industry for the last, 10 years, it feels like, right? But so, you know, we've done a little bit ourselves, and we keep working. We're not PE backed like some, and so we're kind of keeping it, pure to ourselves, I suppose. But that means that we can't move as fast sometimes, but we're really, really ready and excited. SnapTech IT is growing well, and really, I just was very early to dedicate people to automation in our company. Me and my business partners, we all just said this makes sense,
right? And
so we jumped on it quite early, and you know, we've long time had the mentality of being a go-giver, of participating in offering talks at community events and sharing what we're doing, being in peer groups. And we just kept having so many other providers saying, hey, can you help us with this? Wow. Can you do this? And I'm like, there's so much of this. It's knocking on our door. They keep saying, how much can I pay you? I'm like, we should start this consulting practice. Rewst needs a professional service arm, because Rewst is awesome. In fact, in so many ways, not even close, it's the best product you can use for this. In our space, but it's hard. Right. RPA is hard. Or doing automation is hard, and it's complicated because you got to be both good at IT and good at a type of software development of sorts. It's not true software development in every sense, and so they shortcut some things, but you still have to have that architectural, structural mindset. And I think the real missing thing is that we don't really know how to gather needs and outcomes and work a software development project, which is what you really should be doing when you're thinking of an automation. And so it's just a motion that, in my experience, in our company, we weren't good at, and I don't think other MSPs are particularly good at. We're great at it for like figuring out we need 2 servers and X terabytes of space and all that kind of stuff that we've done in the past, but we're not that great. It's like, well, what business process is suffering, and how can we improve it? And what if we did this? Would that make a difference? And how can we measure that? Those are things that are just new motions that the MSPs don't have people that understand often. There are plenty that do too, of course.
Sure.
There's a lot of folks doing great work. But I know that there's a big crowd out there that's a little lost with what these type of projects look like and how they do it. And like I said, to me, that's the evolution incoming. So,
want to show your love for discipline, inspiration, and the Joey Pinz podcast? Now's your chance. Introducing the brand new Joey Pinz merch store, where style meets discipline. Choose from premium apparel, cozy hoodies, stylish hats, durable bags, and your new favorite coffee mug, all featuring the iconic Joey Pinz logo. Perfect for podcast fans, discipline enthusiasts, or as unique gifts for friends and family. Every purchase supports the Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations podcast, helping us continue to inspire greatness and promote positive change. Visit joeypins.com/store today and wear your discipline proudly. Joey Pinz merch. Wear it, share it, and live it. So I think you know my story. I started the MSP back in 93, sold in 2019, but I was working way too hard back then, Karl, like you were, 14, 16-hour days, putting my health in the back seat. I'm in front of the doctor. She tells me I'm at 340 pounds.
Whoa.
If you don't lose...
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was about 2001.
Okay, I was 325.
Were you really? Look at you. She says to me, if I don't lose this weight, I'm not going to see my daughter graduate. She scared the hell out of me.
That's messed up.
Spent the next 6-7 months, lost about 120 pounds, kept it up. You got to look at, you can't look at it as a finishing line, these things, right, Karl?
No.
It's lifelong changes. So when I tell people this story, they're like, what's your secret? What you do? And there's no secret. Discipline. That's how. Focus, willpower, routine. How does discipline play a role in your life?
Oh, man. Well, I would say it's like a lifelong journey, right? There's parts where I'm good at discipline and parts where I'm not. I'm an intuition. I'm a gut guy, right?
Yes, you are.
But I would say it's funny you bring this up. Like, the health journey is a big one for me too. I've definitely taken a journey there, and I've done the the flash thing gets me a lot of headway for 6 months, and then it comes back. And I tell you, after the second time I did that, I'm like, okay, I'm done with that.
Yeah, good for you.
It's too tough. It's not good. So I really took my time on this last one, and I've been on this constant decline since.
Wow.
Because what kept happening is I would get up to like 260, and then I dropped down to 200. Then I get up to 280, and I dropped down to 240. Jeez. And then went to 325.
That's a yo-yo diet.
It was tough.
Yeah.
It was not good.
Yeah.
And you said it. It's because what happened is when I diet, I would live in a way I did not want to live, right? And so I really worked hard the last few years to find a way to do it at a pace and at a style that I want to live like that, right? And so I have to find the things I don't mind giving up and keep the things that are still okay that, like we still all have our vices. I have my vices. Mine's Coke Zero, by the way. I guess I still probably hit way more of that than I should, but I give myself a little something, right? And then, there is a desire element. Sounds like you had the desire come very clear to you.
Well, my daughter.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
That was the thing.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to get to that zone where it's like, I want this more than that. Right. But I'm on a fun and exciting journey, in that regard. So I've just been on this steady decline, and I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything, which is nice.
That's what you do.
That's how it's what you want. It's your lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
So that's a place. But I also say that another pretty big discipline for me is I'm pretty consistent for I don't know how long, got to be 15, 20 years. I read a lot. I'm a very avid reader.
Really?
Most of the time, 1 to 2 books a week. For years,
You're listening? You're reading?
I listen,
Me too. Yeah.
Well, here's how it worked. I'm a pretty fast reader with a book, right? In fact, that was, I think, one of the reasons why I became a pretty decent IT guy, because I remember, like, the Mark Manassi Windows 2000 book comes out. It's 1,100 pages. I read it in one sitting.
Did you really?
I did, yeah. And then I went and took cert tests on it, passed it, then I went and wrote courses on it for a college I was working for, right? It's like, but then I was out there doing it too, right? So that's, it's different people learn different ways. I've always found it reasonably okay that I can listen to a book or read it physically and I retain it okay.
Yeah.
That's not as common. A lot more folks are kinesthetic learners. They got to click and do in technology, and that's cool, and that benefits me too. But for whatever reason, I've been able to do the reading thing and retain a lot of it, and that's really worked well for me. It's funny because I was such a terrible student in high school. I never read the books I was supposed to, all that. But by the time I got to college, I'm like, I got kids. I got to do this. Oh my gosh, I need to.
Pressure's on.
I need to really do this. Yeah. And I discovered I can read really quick. And so I was always books until, because used to be books on CD, but it's like reading molasses. I was like, now we're going to. I'm like, oh, I can't stand this. So books on CD, I couldn't handle. But once like Audible came out, these things, and you get that 1x, 2x, 2.5, 3x. Depends on the speed of the books, but usually 2x is my floor, and sometimes I'm 2.5. You know, and I crank through them, and I love it. You know, so many different types of books. Sometimes fun, but man, so many business books, so many books on improvement, things like that I really like to get into. A lot of college lectures too. I like to listen to. You know, great courses, great resource. So I'm just an avid information consumer.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
So I would say I guess there's some discipline in that.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Certainly. Yeah. It's hard for me to kind of work in silence. I need some kind of other input too.
I feel the same way too. My wife gets a little frustrated because like even on a car drive, sometimes she's like, "Hey, can we just take a quiet car ride?" I'm like, "Why? Why would we do that?
There's an opportunity.
What is going on here? We could be listening to some tunes. I got songs to rehearse. I got to play guitar on that song, or I'm going to be singing harmony on this. I mean, these things, I need them in my head, you know. So
no rest for the weary.
That's right. That's right.
Karl, thank you so much for your time. Anybody watching or listening, how can they get in touch with you?
Oh, yeah. Well, a good spot is probably on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, just look Karl Bickmore, Karl Bickmore, kbickmore at ravenautomation.com, kbickmore at SnapTech. Look forward to anybody catching up with us if they want. They're looking forward to it.
Karl, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Great
good to see you, Joe.
my friend.
All right, take care.
Thank you for listening and or viewing Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations. Please share this episode with one or two of your friends who you think may benefit from the episode. Our website, www.joeypinz.com. There you'll find lots of resources and you could join our mailing list. Please follow us on all our social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Podcast information, the video version of our podcast is on YouTube. Please subscribe. Audio is on all major podcasting platforms. Please follow them. And if you like it, please consider giving 5-star rating. Would really appreciate that. Thank you again for listening or watching Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations.